Before we get into it, I need you to picture something. You're standing in an elevator, the doors are closing, a stranger slides in at the last second, breathing a little too fast. Eyes doing that quick sweep, a floor numbers, your face, the corner of the ceiling. Back to the floor numbers. Nothing happens, nothing is said, and yet some part of your brain, a part you didn't authorize, already has an opinion about this person, already has a guess about what they want. Before a single word passes between you, a verdict has been reached. That right there might be exactly how this whole thing works. Here's the first thing most people get wrong about reading intentions. Most people assume it's about watching for lies. That if you stare hard enough at someone's eyes, or catch them touching their nose, you'll catch the tell, like a poker player spotting a bluff. It was far more interesting than that. What your brain is actually doing has almost nothing to do with catching a lie. It's not decoding words at all. It's running a full body scan on someone else's nervous system. And it's doing it faster than conscious thought can keep up with. Here's how it actually happens. A person walks into your field of view. Before you've registered a single detail consciously, your visual cortex has already fed raw motion and shape data to your amygdala. The almond-shaped structure sitting deep in your brain that exists for exactly one job, deciding threat or no threat in a fraction of a second. That decision triggers a cascade. Muscles in your face begin to mirror theirs, faintly, involuntarily. Your heart rate shifts to match the tempo of their movement. Your posture responds to their posture before you've thought a single conscious thought about who they are. Generation after generation, the humans who could do this a little faster than everyone else survived a little more often, not because they chose to read people well, because reading people well chose them. Now here's where it gets genuinely strange. There's a term for the speed at which this happens: thin slicing. It's the brain's ability to find a meaningful pattern in a tiny window of behavior, sometimes less than a second, and build an accurate prediction out of almost nothing. Researchers studying this found that people watching a 2-second silent video clip of a teacher could predict, with startling consistency, how that teacher would eventually be rated by actual students months later to seconds. No sound, no context, just posture, gesture, the shape of a gesture in space. What's doing the heavy lifting underneath thin slicing is your mirror neuron system, a network of cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you simply watch someone else perform it. Watch someone clench a jaw, and your own jaw. Muscles twitch in sympathy, quiet enough that you'll never notice, loud enough that your nervous system absolutely does. We were reading each other this whole time, and we never once felt it happening. Zoom out, and this stops being a party trick and starts looking like the architecture of the entire species. This constant, involuntary read and mirror loop is what lets total strangers coordinate without a script, emerge into traffic, pass on a sidewalk, split a check, sit in a waiting room without anyone assaulting anyone else out of sheer nervous tension. It's the invisible social glue running underneath every human interaction you've ever had. No other primate does this at this speed. Not chimpanzees, not bonobos, not even close. Their reads are slower, clumsier, more dependent on repeated exposure. Ours fires in a blink, on a stranger, with zero history to draw from. But okay, the mirroring explains why we feel like we instantly get someone. It doesn't explain why some people are dramatically better at it than others. Sometimes catching intentions the rest of us miss entirely. For that, we need to talk about an experiment. Researchers once ran a comparison test to find out who was actually best at reading hidden intent from brief exposure. They tested trained interrogators, professionals paid to detect deception for a living. Their accuracy barely beat a coin flip. They tested lie detector machines, hooked up to sweat glands and heart rate, again, barely above chance. Easily fooled by anyone mildly practiced at staying calm. Then they tested something almost embarrassingly simple. Ordinary people, given nothing but a few seconds of muted video, no training, no machines, just instinct, and the ordinary observers, relying on nothing but unconscious pattern recognition, outperformed both the experts and the equipment. The concept this points to is called ecological validity, a thin-sliced judgment, the idea that raw, untrained human perception, operating on instinct alone, can outcompete both training and technology because it isn't looking for the lie. It's reading the whole nervous system at once, and no algorithm built yet does that as fluidly as an ordinary human standing in a room. That's not just a curiosity. That's a functional tool you're carrying around every single day, whether or not you've ever consciously turned it on. Reframe it and suddenly it looks less like an interesting fact and more like a piece of equipment. It can flag a fake smile before you've consciously registered the mouth moved wrong. It can pick up a shift in someone's baseline breathing rate from across a room. It can sense hesitation in a handshake before the hand fully makes contact. It can catch a half-second delay between a word and the face that's supposed to match. It can register when someone's shoulders angle away from a group even while their voice stays warm. It can notice when eye contact holds a beat too long to be casual. Every one of these reads happens beneath language, faster than reasoning, running in the background while you think you're simply getting a vibe. There's one behavioral tell that separates a genuinely well-read intention from a performed one, and it's almost too small to notice on purpose. It's called the Duchenne marker, a specific, involuntary crinkling around the eyes that only appears during authentic positive emotion. Because it's controlled by a muscle most people cannot consciously activate. A performed smile can fake the mouth, it almost never fakes the eyes. Watch for that crinkle, and you're not reading a mask, you're reading the muscle underneath the mask, the one nobody rehearses. Studies on emotional feedback loops have found that when someone catches a genuine Duchenne signal from another person, their own nervous system calms measurably, faster than words could ever manage. No performed courtesy, no scripted warmth, produces that same physiological drop. It's one of the only tells that can't be trained away when you combine the amygdala's split-second threat scan with the mirror neuron system quietly sensing your body to a stranger's, with thin slicing outperforming trained professionals and machines. With a genuine smile that can't be faked around the eyes, to get a detection system with no real equal anywhere else in the animal kingdom. Not machines, not training, not even conscious thought. Most of the time. So picture that elevator. Again, the stranger sliding in at the last second, breathing fast, eyes sweeping the numbers, the ceiling, your face, except now you know what's actually happening in that silence. Your amygdala already ran its threat check. Your mirror neurons already sensed, faintly, to the rhythm of that breathing. Some ancient, wordless part of you already built a verdict before the doors even finished closing. You were never guessing, you were reading, and you've been fluent in this language since long before you learned to speak.